Guys, what is going on? Welcome back. How are you? Today is going to be fun because the idea that I got for today is something that I think might be a recurring segment on this channel. It's also going to be slightly, I don't want to say game showy, but we'll be like flip that sample, you know what I mean? But and you've heard flip that sample, that's what people who make music with samples do. They take a sample and they flip it. We're going to be doing that as well, but we're going to do it in a much more fun way. So if you come over here to categories and go to samples, it can be very daunting when you see all of these ridiculous Command Option L is a hotkey to hide that. So that should be Control Option L on a Windows computer. So look at all these samples, and it's basically pulling all of the samples for you. There's so many, and you could just, it's like you almost just can't, do it. You almost need to know what you're searching for. So if you need a hi-hat, it would, you could come into here and type hat, and now it's gonna, you could do the same thing, synth. And so you'll come to the samples folder, but what we're gonna do, and I'm on a laptop, I've got the trackpad, I can just scroll it down, but if you're on a mouse, you can do your own scrolling. So if oh geez. See this little blue headphone icon here? If they're too loud, you can, in this bottom right corner here, that's how you control the thing. So what we're gonna do is, we're gonna select one, and then we're gonna scroll. And then we're gonna tap. Ooh, okay, so this will be the first one, okay? So we'll go to instruments here. Not gonna do sampler. No, we don't do sampler on the channel anymore. And if you guys think it's because I'm trying to cop out of sample using sampler, no, it's because everyone has simpler, okay? So it would be silly of me, unless I was severely handicapped, in terms of my ability to do what I want to do in simpler, where it would actually just be better to use sampler, than I would. But as you've been seeing, because we've been doing simpler a lot lately, more than capable, and in fact actually kind of helps us out in a few different areas. So we're gonna do flip that sample. Okay, so we're in the samples, right? Oh, chord dub chop 9. Give me the chord dub chop 9. Hey guys, what is going on? OpenSea, it's an NFT marketplace. Own this art. If you would like to support, purchase it. How exciting. And then you own this art. Wonderful. Old man. Now back to the show. This wonderful sound design hangout with Chord Dub Chop 9. What are we going to do with it? Are we going to be in classic? Are we going to be in one shot? Are we going to be in slice? I don't know. But what kind of flipping am I going to do? Well, I'm going to do the kind of flipping that I would do. When I listen to this thing straight out the gate, what do I think? What am I going to do to make it more interesting? I just want to make it be more interesting. I want to make it sound as good as I can possibly make it sound. Because after all, this is sound design. This is what I do. I realize that I don't use Ableton to make songs anymore like I used to. I actually use it just to make awesome sounds. And if you're watching this, you probably love sound design, and you probably want to watch us get deep in here. So let's go. Chord Dub Chop 9. Let's play it. Now, before we play it, we want to be playing C3, because C3 will play it back at its original. It plays back the original sample. Okay. So I want to play a C3. Okay. Now immediately. Now we're in classic. Okay, classic's going to be the one you'll be in the most. Okay, so. Now, if I wanted to just play it like that, so this is it by itself. This is just a sample. Okay, it's very short. We could play multiple of them, but I'm not really liking that. So what I'm thinking is, if I wanted to play it like that, I would probably play it as one shot. I hate how it ends. So I'm gonna give it some fade out, and now watch it. It took away. It took away with that. Now I want to zoom in here always because I feel like I might be hearing something at the start, or maybe it's just because it's not starting at a good place. I don't like that. So I'm going to get rid of the, let's see, this fade out. It's starting here. They're not, watch, if I move it to like a zero crossing, it'll probably sound better. A little bit. But I don't want to do that. That's boring. What would I do? Well, we don't really have a whole lot of need for slice mode because it's basically the same sound. But I want to be able to like hold it, and I want it to like continuously play. Now, if I give it some release, it's not going to do that because there's really nothing to release. It's just a sample. Listen. Doesn't matter. Awful. So I don't want to do one shot. I want to do classic because I want to make this guy sound longer. And how do you make something sound longer when it's a sample? You go to loop. So what are we doing right now? Well, we want to make it sound nice. Now, if I move this start here, it's going to start from there. I don't want that. I want to move the loop. So it still starts at the beginning here. See? But where's it going to start looping? Well, I want to make it loop much shorter. See? But that doesn't really sound like what we just had. So maybe I'm going to experiment making it a little bit longer. Not really here because that's like dead space. Although we could do that because all we want is really just a good sound. But I want to kind of retain the beginning part. That doesn't really work for me. It really does not work at all. So we have to go smaller, okay? We got to go a lot smaller. That's too much. And by the way, why are we doing sound design stuff right now without having Spectrum open? And by the way, that probably only popped into my head because we are all connected. We are all one. Thank you out there for saying, hey, would you please put a Spectrum on there? I've been really enjoying all of that. Wonderful. That looks like shit. Okay, so let's move it in. Then we can move this. Find a different spot. Doesn't that sound like a song? Blah 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 blah. Wonderful, wonderful. Now, someone might say, that's really cool. That is all well and good. And to be honest, we don't even really need... see how it's like following like that? We could, if we wanted to, if we just want to make it like extra pretty, we could like... Look, we can like move it around like that. I'll leave it where it was. So, so if we want to like smooth it out, we could use this fade. So like right now. And in fact, I actually want to know if we could throw an LFO on that because we should be able to, which is actually why this might actually be more powerful than sampler actually because I don't know if it'll let us do it with fade. Let's see here. Yes. I don't think you can do that in, whatever. So let's see here. Movie offset. If you ever feel like you're kind of getting screwed in that regard, just like adjust the offset. It's too fast, lower the rate. And bring the depth up. Just gives it like a little bit of like interesting movement, right? Because if you turned it off. And now we should be able to get our nice release. Isn't that wonderful? So that's what you would probably do with that sample, unless you were like, oh, I just want to play it how it normally is and be able to play it up and down because that's, you know, what the sampler gives you. But let's put this back on. So like how crazy is that? Like we're modulating the fade parameter. Yeah, That's wonderful, 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 wonderful. And like, we haven't even used any audio effects. You know what I mean? So like, what would you do? Well, first of all, it almost sounds like it has a phaser on it, so you don't even need a phaser, but like I would always play around with the phaser or a chorus. What's nice about this new phaser is you can play around with flanger and doubler, but most of the time I just think phaser sounds a lot better. Keep in mind the default puts the dry wet all the way up, so I like a slower rate, so this is set on 2 bars, but we can go to hertz. Find something that works, just so you can fine tune it better. And then what else would sound good if we're really trying to get into audio effects, or just like, you know, things you would process with, like delay, of course delay. Now, do you want those delays to go into the phaser flanger, or do you want them to go after the phaser flanger? I kind of think I might want to try with the after. I'm going to bring this down so not all of them are delaying. Why? Because typically the lowest lows, when they delay, they just build up frequencies and they get muddy, and the highest highs, when they get delayed, it can basically brutalize your ears. So that's why this is kind of like this right here. And sync doesn't matter. Sometimes I like to kind of have one sync be on like a triplet and the other one be on another one, so it just kind of gives us extra. So anyways, let's listen to what it sounds like. I'm gonna turn the dry wet all the way down, 0%. 0% dry, or I guess 100% dry, depending on which way you want to look at it, means no effect. And I'm going to hold down a chord, a minor triad, and I'm going to bring it up, and let's see what the delay does for us right here. It's weird, I keep hearing these like clicks and pops. I think that's because of the start right here, so give it some attack, see if that helps. Yeah, I don't know, I actually think my setup is, it's really weird, it sounds like it's like spiking because of CP, it just cut out. Yeah, it's really, it keeps, I don't know why it's doing that actually. I'm going to turn this LFO off. I don't even think it's because the computer's being overworked, to be honest with you. Every so often the energies get really high. If you've been watching, you've felt this, and it just keeps spiking. Like right now, you know, it hasn't gone above 30% CPU. It shouldn't be spiking. Sometimes these abnormalities will happen. I think that means we should probably just move on here. I'm going to just delete everything on this track. You get the idea. We were basically just like sound processing that. In fact, I'm actually just going to delete this MIDI track altogether. It literally won't. I don't really know. We'll see. See if that does anything. That's too low. Now it's too low. Weird. All right, where were we? Instruments. Simple. C'est sympas. And now let's roll the wheel. And we're going to keep rolling it because there's so many ridiculous samples. You probably have just as many. I didn't like... Ooh. Ziglitch kick. Okay, so when I look at Ziglitch kick... Oh my God, I don't have water. That's shit. 1 second. Plus, I think it's actually kind of good that we maybe chill. Like, I think we were opening up portals here a second ago, which is why all the electronics got weird. I mean, I've got like 3 things recording, but yeah, 1 second, please. All right, we're back. Maybe everything chilled out for a second. We were going too strong for too long, and all the electronics said, hey, we have not upgraded to our multi-dimensional selves yet. Could you please give us a little bit of a break? Because, yeah, the CPU wasn't even going above 30%. It doesn't do that. So right now, when I look at this, what am I thinking? Well, first of all, this is the whole sample, okay? And even though this looks nice and beautiful, maybe it looks a little bit different than that like long caterpillar waveform you're used to seeing. That would indicate to me that this is a very small sample, which you should probably figure out because it's called glitch kick, and it's probably a kick drum. So let's make sure we arm this track and let's hear what it just sounds like on its own, which means we have to hit C3. So we're going to hit C3. Doesn't really sound like a kick, okay? Let's go to one shot because if we wanted to play it like a kick, we would want it to ring the whole way. One shot is you just tap it, it plays the whole thing. Now, I don't like how it fades out, so let's see if this makes it a little bit better. Okay, now let's go to controls. And over here on the right, you see pitch envelope. Why does this always trips me out? Like you have to like, you know, like this always really trips me out because like I want the, we may need to go to classic on this one. See how there's like a click for amplitude? I think that went away when we were in the other one shot. Did it go away or am I crazy? Yeah, it went away. There's no way to do amplitude. You can only do pitch, which is just weird. So I didn't know that. Did you know that? I'm gonna go back to classic because look, now we go back to controls. See, we're still on pitch, but look, we've got these little check marks here. So now I'm in amplitude. So now that's not very kick drummy. So here's our amp envelope. So if I just got rid of it, you would have nothing. But now watch. So it's only 12.8 seconds. So let's we want to take this and make it more kick drum soundy. If we for whatever reason wanted that to be more kick drummy. And you also might want to take the filter frequency down, play with the resonance. You could just use this as a bass. Turn up the release. It doesn't really matter because the sample's so small. If we wanted more of it release, we would have to zoom in and loop apart. So like if you take a look at this right here, do you see a pattern? Like look at this guy right here. This guy right here. Go a little up, down, then up, and then like a woo, woo, woo. And then look, it's like the same damn thing repeating. So I bet you if we looped this little segment, so we did this right here, not start, because we don't want the start. We want the start to play here. And you see how it goes like bigger, smaller, it's sloping down. Wow, I feel like I'm looking at like a price chart or something. And then we've got this, you know? So pick any one you would like. So what I would do is we're not going to move start because I don't want it to start up here. So I want it to start there. But we're going to move the loop. Oh, look, it went perfectly right there. But I don't want it to screw around over here. No, I don't want that to happen because I want this to stay locked here. So now let's play with the length. See, now that's the only thing I don't really like about Simpler is because I want this side to stay here. And so I don't want to play with the start because see this? I want the start to stay over here. The loop I don't want to play with because I want it to stay right here. And length, well, I just want it to, this happens. And that's what makes possibly why. Now we can probably make it work, right? Okay, no, we don't want fade. So like we can always move this guy on the end, right? And maybe, okay, that's how we do it. We have to get this guy over here, over here, and then we adjust the loop. See, a lot of times like, and see how this is so, Now let's see what this sounds like. Someone said, hey, you took off the spectrum. Why'd you do that? You was going mental again. I'm sorry. I have been going quite a bit mental lately. Have you? By the way, you pretty much have to go mental because in order to really transcend, you have to like transcend your older self. And in the process, your older self is dying to be reborn. So in theory, a part of you really is dying if you wanted to think of it that way. Hopefully none of you took that the wrong way. Let's go. What does this sound like? I don't know. Why is sustain all the way down? Notice how like it wouldn't keep looping, even though it's like still looping. See, it's all going down. By the way, that's what you do. I mean, this is basically what we're hearing. We're basically hearing this oscillation. Look at how here it starts here. This is just a more dramatic one, which just means louder. We got to go to start up, down, up, whoa, 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 to right here. Look at that. Does that not look identical? And then same thing. Start whoop, whoop. It's just like the louder means more volume. And yeah, so if you just loop one of these, someone says, hey, that's shit. Well, it's because I guess for whatever reason we turn sustain down. I don't know. So let's turn sustain up and see if it fixes it for us. Wonderful. See, and you can verify. Look, they aren't moving. Now that sounded bad. So if we wanted to play that like a bass, we would want to come in here to voices and go voices down to 1. And so now listen to what happens. It's going to cut out each time. Where it's going to not allow multiple bass notes to play because it's muddy. It makes them less distinctive and it eats up headroom. Now check this out. Before, you know what I mean? It's muddy crap. You don't have to do that. You can keep it that way. Now listen how nice that sounds. Now if you got that sample, okay? You would be like, it sounds okay, I guess. But if you didn't know, like, that's what you could do to extend it and make it longer and make it better. In fact, let's go back. Because, like, look, let's just drag it. Let's just drag it into an audio track, okay? And let's just play it outright. Listen. That sounded awful, right? You know what happens when you get Ableton and you're newer to a DAW like Ableton? You get a bunch of samples and you're like, hey, I don't know where to start. And then you get a sample like this and you're like, oh, thank you. I've been treading water and it's been so tiring. And now you finally gave me a sample called Glitch Kick, and God, that's got to be great. I mean, I just love glitch hop, psyops, everything. The whole world is psyoping you. So I got this Glitch Kick, and now I got a good kick. Let's play it. Oh boy, I think I'm going to be able to finally throw it in a drummer. I can make some beats. Oh, that's horrible. You would be correct, but if you knew what you were doing, you would turn that into... Now listen how this frequency is down, okay? You might be like, well, I want some of that higher end. Well, that's when you get that filter. So look at this frequency, right? Look at this frequency. We're down here at 455. We're cutting all of this out. You could do that. Or you could keep it down here. You could do some modulate, or you go into envelope and then start cranking it. Move up the... Wonderful. Whew. And if you wanted some glide, you got glide down chair. And what else do you go? Well, you got the spread percentage. That'll make anything like, listen. If you're on a stereo headphones, if you're in headphones, or it's coming through on like a stereo system, you'll be able to hear the spread well. But when you do spread it out, it does kind of make a bass less powerful, punchier. It should normally come through, especially the lower frequencies on mono, but I just want to let you know that was there. You got volume to velocity, so if you want to add some velocity sensitivity, which you probably would, you wouldn't want them always to play at the same. And when you do have this amount set here, which I think it's kind of good to set it at 35, you can go a little bit lower, unless you want extreme sensitivity, and then you would go in the MIDI clip and you would adjust those little like lollipops, you know, those little velocity slider bars. So, yeah, that's what I would do with this. And if any moment you're like, well, I don't want a bass, well, come into controls, go to transpose and push it up. No, I don't want it like that. I'm gonna turn this off because I want to hold it. I want it I want it to ring out. I'm gonna go back to sample. Go to controls. Okay, amp envelope. I'm gonna give it some attack. Go back to sample. Go to voices. It was on monophonic. We want to make it polyphonic because we want to play some chords. And now let's play. Get it off envelope down here. Good. Back to frequency, and let's just manually take this yellow bar and move it. And if you needed more punch, come over to here, throw up the drive. You got it. And if you wanted to put some velocity percentage, which you probably would, a little bit, you know what I mean? Maybe some of that, you could do that right there. And yeah, you can do that with your 909 kick, 808 kick. You get a similar thing. And you can like change it up, you know, you could kind of do this. See, like I don't want it to move. I don't want it to like move like that. But we figured out the workaround, which was just to be patient and to just play around with it. Now we know it better. So I think I'm going to do one more just because, you know, it's better to do things in threes. Wow, I don't know where that came from, but listen to how wonderful that sounds. And if you wanted to save it, you would just come over here to the save icon, and then it would end up going into your user library here. But because, and I don't want to brag, but because it's quite easy for me to just, you know, make any of these things, I'm not going to save it. Although part of my soul was like, I love it. But, oh man. Okay, simpler. Let's do one more. Now let's go to my sounds. Let's go into the found sound. By the way, I was like meditating and I was getting in the zone, and then I just started, not finger drumming, I just started like slapping my like thighs as I was like sitting there, and like the inner drummer came out in me. Take a listen to this. Maybe we'll play around with this at some other time. We've got to just do one more simpler thing. I get pretty crazy up in Chia. It's like that's the rhythm. It's nothing sped up or slowed down. Let's put some reverb on it. Of course, you can hear like my air conditioner. Take out some highs. Wonderful, wonderful. 777. We're seeing all the angel numbers on these shows, folks. We are doing it. We are getting it. So let's go over here to Found Sound. Yeah. Scroll through. Scroll through. Where does it stop? Zappa Aliens. Well, this is kind of like a piece of audio dialogue. Oh, so now I know what we could do. Now it was meant to be, so now we can use the only one of the three that we have not gotten to. It's that slice paramacha. Oh, I don't like the way this looks at all.
So it's steak, a steak. So it's
Let's get that reverb back up in chair.
steak. Steak. So. If there is. Smart, they wouldn't have anything to do with us. Because smart, they wouldn't have anything to do with us. Because
Someone said, hey mate, I need to hear exactly what Frank Zappa was saying. That sounded like some brilliant shit. Well, by the way, he was asked on an interview and he was like, and again, dude, this was probably back in like the 70s or something, but he's like, yeah, what do you think of alien life? And look at this like nuanced answer. Like, just take a listen, Machia.
Planets, other civilizations, other beings.
I think that the idea of space exploration is worthwhile, but I think that to pursue it just because we want to connect with a race of superior beings with this, superior intellect who will then come down and bestow wisdom on this particular race is a mistake. If there is such a species out there, if they really were smart, they wouldn't have anything to do with us. Because the only thing that the human species can do perfectly is make a mess out of stuff. I mean, it's so easy for anything that is a human organism to just cause destruction.
Wonderful. Smash a like if you know about that Frank Zappa. By the way, he's actually he's my favorite guitarist. If you listen to him play guitar, he's like soloing on top of his stuff. It's just like constant melodies, great sound. So if you drag this trans, so slice by what? Well, let's do beat.
Wisdom on wisdom. Out there, wisdom, out there, wisdom, out there, out there, wisdom, out there, out there, wisdom, out there, wisdom on wisdom out there.
All right, someone make a trap beat to that. I don't make beats like that anymore because I spend like 2 months on it and then I realize I shouldn't be spending 2 months straight on them trap beats. I gotta pay me bills. I can't be spending it making them trap beats. What? More fire! I mean, it's endless, guys. Endless. And you want to know why it's endless? You want to know why it's endless? Because check this out. This is for the scrippers out there. This is for the Ableton OGs out there. This is for the cryptocurrency moguls out there that are going to say, hey, because you showed me how to take this amazing step just one step further, we are buying you NFTs. If you show us the goods right now, what would you do? This is exactly what you would do. You would drop a pitch first. Because I want it to play at the beginning right here, so I need to keep checking. Find the start. Okay, what do you do next? Okay, we want a apreciacja, because we want to be able to do this.
Exploration.
But we need to get a random now. Oh, yes, we do. Want to turn the chance up, otherwise I won't do it. And we want it to be on add. Not sub, not buy, but add, because it's going to choose something above this. And how many choices? Well, I'm pretty sure there's more than 24 choices right here. And let's go for it.
This to think like X be like should like be with your be with like soup should like homes or with Mark with like soup any because this with X and it's shoes walk that be a problem with real because it's real could be coming with me because
I'll come over here to the right.
Any real because can this out there being think that with a suit only to connect with this array superior to speak with a wisdom array with a because can out there array that because wisdom only I think to can array gives there is array that with this is that the human.
Someone said, hey, put some funky drum beats up on chair. Sure, let's just do this. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Oh, you're killing my ears right here.
Human speak out there, it's really work. Suet there is superior that the race wisdom there is a species out. Really work can do it's really work being perfect just anything Sabbath human speak with a because it's a Sabbath to being because Sabbath this anything this being because I'm just perfect it's a mist I'm just because with a reasonist with a I'm just out there because being is a mist this perfect can anything do because anything that this with a out there really work because while it's a mist Sabbath can while it's a mist perfect it's a mist can anything with a Sabbath can really work on can really work on
I'm just holding one note down. I'm only holding on one note.
Anything that human speak while being with a realm can out there with a can perfect really work being out there with a perfect Sabbath with a realm can being human speak anything is a misunderstood with a perfect anything being really work because being is a mist.
Now I'm just gonna push play. See, I got my clip. That was the note that I was hanging down there. I thought 16 would be enough. Hit play.
This perfect, it's a mist perfect. I'm just while this out there being anything out there. This anything perfect. Human speak with a anything. Sabbath being really work can out there can really work while this to really work because while human speak Sabbath anything human speak really work with a unbestow can it's a miss this unbestow being out there being anything out there unbestow because with a really work perfect this while it's a mist while with a realm bestow perfect because with a realm human speak while human speak this participant perfect anything this really working on out there human speak being unbestow can it's a mist because with a can with a while unbestow really work being human speak is a mist out there this is while perfect while unbestow is a mist because Sabbath can being while really work with a while unbestow really work being anything being this with a mist while because it out there because it's a mist out there this being this out there this while perfect can while with a while being out there because I'm just can